Welcome back everybody. So this week is quite busy. We have a lot of work to do and I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot more videos uploaded this week than usual. I don't know if you've seen the last video, but we finally found the actual issue of the cheap Audi A4 that we bought. So I've ordered the rocker cover gasket, the head gasket. I've got another head from the scrapyard. So today we have to take the head that I bought from the scrapyard apart because it has to be completely dismantled before we bring it to get skimmed. So I'm on my way now to pick up some parts from the parts shop. Then we're gonna head to the garage to get the head of the engine dismantled, bring it away to get skimmed. Hopefully it'll be done today. And then we have a few more jobs that we'll talk about in a few minutes. Now let's pick up the parts that I've ordered. Okay, so we got the gasket for the rocker cover and the head gasket for the head of the engine. So now let's head to the garage to get the head of the engine dismantled, and then we can bring it away to get skimmed. Once the head of the engine gets skimmed, we can bring it back, put the valves back in, the camshafts, everything back into the head of the engine, and then install it. I still need to go get a torque wrench from my other garage before we put the head of the engine on. I'm still debating about if I should buy new head bolts or just use the same old ones. Yeah, I don't know yet. Obviously the smart thing would be just to buy new head bolts, but I think we just might reuse the old ones. But we'll think about that. We'll think about that one. So yeah, once we're back at the garage, I'll talk about the rest of the work that we have planned. Okay, what a lovely mess we have here. So what I done off camera was remove the old turbo and inspected all the parts inside, and everything is perfect. There isn't any wobble in the shaft, there isn't any oil or anything coming off the bearings inside. The old turbo looks in pretty good condition. So it turns out when I diagnosed the turbo problem, when we took off the exhaust side and it was full of oil and I just assumed it was the turbo. Yeah, I was actually wrong. It wasn't the turbo. The turbo is completely fine. So we spent 120 euros on a new turbo for, oh, well, basically no reason. But we did it, it's on, and I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna leave it on. But what we're gonna do with this turbo is clean it up fully, make it look like brand new, and then we're gonna list it for sale. Also, downstairs I have an empty room down the back. So what I'm gonna do is set up a table, a bench, and slowly start setting up a business where I'm gonna restore and refurb turbos and a little bit down the line injectors. So yeah, I'm gonna set up a little space downstairs, make a workbench. We'll need to get an ultrasonic cleaner, a parts washer, a sandblaster, a few other tools and everything like that so we can make the turbo repairs and refurbishments. And then I'm going to offer it as a service because in my city there isn't anybody that does it, so I'm hoping that it will attract a few customers. So far we have this turbo of the Audi A4 which fits onto a few cars, not just this car itself. Okay, also a friend of mine replaced his turbo in a Seat Altea and he gave me the old one because he knew I was gonna start this business, so we need to refurb this one. The hot side is completely stuck and the compressor side is wobbling like mad, so we need to get this one refurbed. So in this one we're gonna need to change the whole insides. So that's two turbos we have now. Then we have this car. This is an old customer of mine when I used to work in a garage. So he brought me this car with a problem of it not running right. So the Ford also has a bad turbo. I took off the turbo pipe and wiggled the compressor side and it's wobbling like mad. So 100% the turbo needs to be replaced in the Ford. There might be more problems than the turbo, so there might be a cracked head or some internal damage, which we're gonna do a compression test before we do anything. So once we get this head dismantled, take out all the valves and everything from this engine, we'll bring it to get skimmed. We'll come back to the garage, do a compression test on this Ford for our client to see if he just needs a turbo or if he has more damage inside the engine. So far I know that the turbo needs to be replaced 100%, but if there is any internal damage, we don't know yet. But we'll do a compression test. If the compression test is fine, I think he should be fine because there was oil now going into the intake, so hopefully there's no internal damage in that. We will replace the turbo, clean out the system, and it will be fine. So then we will have 3 turbos. We'll have 3 turbos. I'll also ring a few of the local scrap yards and see if they have any broken, not functioning turbos that I can buy cheaply. We'll set up the shop downstairs, make a workbench, a place we can clean the parts and everything like that. And yeah, get the 3 turbos that we have repaired, fully refurbished, take photos, list them up for sale, and offer the service of actually cleaning turbos, refurbing turbos, repairing them, and so on. So yeah, as you can see, my hands are quite full this week, and we still have the Nissan. It's still not sold. Everybody that comes to buy it, they're quite happy with it, but they're just scared to buy it because there is no yearly inspection, and the registration that I have on it finishes on Thursday. So today is Monday, we only have a few days left. So yeah, if I like it or not, we have to get the yearly inspection on the Nissan because no one is buying it, and I want to continue with the 500 to a supercar challenge as soon as possible. So yeah, the main job of today is to get the Audi's head repaired, and if they get it done quite quickly, hopefully we can put it back together and get it started. While the head is getting skimmed, we're going to check the Ford outside and make sure it has compression. If it has compression, we're going to remove the turbo and order a second-hand one for it and get it replaced, clean out the system, and hopefully it doesn't have any more issues. Then we need to get the Nissan ready for the yearly inspection, bring it down and get it passed, so then someone can come down and finally buy it. We're probably not going to make as much money as I thought on it, but I don't think we're going to lose any money, so I'm happy enough with that. Then we're going to go down to the basement, into the little room that I have, and yeah, make a workbench, and bit by bit I'm going to start buying equipment like the sandblaster, the ultrasonic cleaner, the parts washer, get a bench vise, just everything that I need to get the job done of rebuilding and refurbishing turbos as easy and as quickly as possible. Need to buy like measurement tools so I can measure the play of the shafts and everything like that. Yeah, there is quite a few things that I need to buy and still learn. I've done a full training course in Garrett Turbo UK. So I've done their online course, and I'm pretty confident that with my prior experience in mechanics and everything, that I should be able to rebuild the turbos with the right tools without any issues. So yeah, that's all the plans for this week. So hopefully you'll see a little bit more videos than usual. And enough yapping, let's get to work and strip this head and bring it to get skimmed. Okay, so we got the head of the engine stripped, the one that we got from the scrapyard. It's fully stripped, so all the valves, everything from the actual head of the engine is removed. Now we can bring it to get skimmed. Once it gets skimmed, we can start reassembling it and getting it ready to put back on the engine. Then we'll come back and tidy up this mess because I'm starting getting confused where is what. So yeah, we'll go get the head skimmed, come back, tidy up the garage, and then we'll move on to the Ford and get the compression checked. If the compression is okay, we're gonna get the turbo off and order a new turbo for it. It should be here within a couple of days. We can get that job done. We'll have another turbo that we can refurbish and sell. And then yeah, we'll probably move on to the Nissan, or we'll go downstairs and start making a workbench while we wait for the head of the engine to get skimmed and come back. Okay, so let's go and get the engine head skimmed. Okay, so we brought the head to get skimmed. We came back to the garage, got it cleaned up a little bit. Let's go downstairs. So this will be the room where we do the restoration of turbos and hopefully in the future injectors. So I'm just waiting for a table to come down. We're gonna put like a table / workbench here with a vise on it. Then hopefully we'll get like a sandblasting box, a parts washer, and so on, so on. We'll get a few bits, and I think this will be enough space to do the turbos and injectors. When they bring the table, I hope it fits through here, and then we can maybe somehow maneuver it into here. And then I'll need to go get a vise. We can install the vise, and we'll have a nice work area. I think we'll use this work area to redo the head of the engine for the Audi. So when we bring back the head of the engine from the Audi, I think we'll bring it down onto the workbench and get it properly put back together before we install it back onto the engine. The new head that we bought from the scrapyard did come with valves and everything, but there's no cam on it, so we're gonna have to take the cam out of the old head and put it onto the new head. The head of the engine that we bought did come with valves, so we're just gonna use the same valves and all the other bits it came with. Once the head of the engine gets put back together, we can start putting it back onto the car. Once it's on the car, we can crank it over and hopefully it runs perfectly. Okay, now I'm just gonna wait for the people that I bought the table from to bring it down. We'll put it into place get that all nice and ready. Then I think we're gonna go and get the head of the engine because it's finished already. They were quite quick. And then when we come back, we'll do the compression of the Ford. Once we do the compression, we'll know what's what. Okay, so we have the table workbench in. Also got a chair. I know it's all used, but I think it will do for now. So here I can put a vise to clamp the parts and stuff like that, and here I have plenty of room to do the dismantling, cleaning and stuff like that. So today we're gonna test it out. I have the old head of the engine, which we're gonna put up here, dismantle and take out all the parts that we need from it. Also, like I said, I got a call from the place that was doing the skimming of the head that we bought from the scrapyard. So it's all done and ready. So I think we're gonna go pick it up, and then I'm gonna go get something to eat. And then we're gonna come back to the garage, get the compression tested of the Ford. Once I get the compression tested, we can start rebuilding the head of this engine. So we will take everything that we need from this head and put it onto the one that got skimmed. And I think for today, that'll be enough. Then tomorrow, we can put the head of the engine back onto the Audi. What I might do is go to the part shop and just get new head bolts because I just don't want to risk it with the old bolts. You could technically reuse them, but when you do tighten them down, they do stretch. So when we're tightening it down again with the new head gasket, I just don't want them to break. So we're gonna go get new head bolts as well. So far on the Audi, we've replaced the turbo, which didn't need to be replaced. Then we bought a new head for the car. We got it skimmed, new gasket, new rocker cover gasket, and so far that's it. And hopefully we don't need to buy anything else, and that will be it. That'll be everything finished, and the car will just run properly without any issues. Obviously we'll still need to do an oil change, but apart from that I think everything will be fine. So yeah, for this table we still need to get a vise. Then like I said, we'll get a parts washer, sandblaster and all the other tools that we need to do the refurbishment of turbos. What I need to do now is check the compression of this Ford to make sure all the cylinders are working as they should. If so, then we order a turbo for it, take the old one off, get a replacement from the scrapyard, change it for him, and then he can go on his way. Okay, so to check the compression on the Ford, I've removed the cover here from the top. Each coil pack has 2 bolts, and then we'll be able to remove the spark plug and put in the compression meter. So let's get these coil packs off, the spark plugs out, and then we can get the compression meter onto it and check the compression. How I know that the turbo was bad, I removed this pipe, which was full of oil, the intercooler pipe, which was full of oil, and I actually moved the turbo from the inside, and it's like rattling and broken in probably a couple of pieces. So turbo is definitely bad, but before changing the turbo, I also want to check the compression to make sure nothing has been damaged inside. So let's get them out. So yeah, a little problem I ran in with the Ford to check the compression. The connector that I have, once you screw it in, I can't get the actual gauge on. So I need to extend this somehow or get a pipe and put the pipe onto here and somehow connect the pipe to here, because at the moment, once it's screwed into the cylinder where the spark plug goes, I can't get this on. And if I can't get that on, I can't do the compression test. So hopefully we'll figure out something with like another pipe or something like that, because unfortunately I do not have any extensions for these. So yeah, I'm gonna go pick up the head gasket that got skimmed, get something to eat, then come back to the garage. We'll figure out the issue with the Ford, get it checked fully, and then we can move on and rebuild the head of the engine. Okay, so let's not waste any more time and let's go. Okay, so we checked the compression of the Ford and it's on the low side, but it has compression. So it's around 9.5 between all 3 cylinders, which means even wear. And well, it is on the low side, but it has compression. So I don't think the turbo caused any damage to the actual engine itself. So we should just get away with changing the actual turbo, cleaning out the pipes, and should be fine. What I did was attach just this see-through pipe. This bit went into the spark plug hole and I was able to measure the compression that way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to attach this to this bit because, well, it's just too deep inside. So I did that, it worked. I was getting 9.5 bar between all cylinders, which is, like I said, on the small side, but I think it should be fine. Also, the owner brought me a turbo, so this one is in quite good condition. There isn't any wobble or anything. So we're gonna put this onto the car, I think tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna swap the turbo, take the old one, put the used one in, clean the pipes, and I think he should be good to go. Also, we have the new, well, not new, but new to this car, the one that we got from the scrapyard. So it got machined and it's all nice and smooth. At the machine shop, they said that they barely had to take anything off, that it was in pretty good condition. So yeah, everything from the old one has to go on to this. I'm not gonna use these valves because, well, these valves, I don't like them, and the ones that were in this worked fine. There wasn't anything wrong with them. So we're gonna use the old valves, but everything else from this engine to this engine, so all the camshaft, all the rockers, all the holders, everything from that old one will go on to this one. And then it can go onto the engine. Also, we got the table, we got a seat, so it's a start. So yeah, now I'm just thinking what jobs to do first to get everything moving along as quick as possible, because I still want to get the Nissan done this week, pass the yearly inspection, get it sold so we can move on with the 500 to a supercar challenge. I want to get this done hopefully tomorrow. Well, at least start it tomorrow. So maybe I think I should do the Ford now. If I can get the Ford done, we'll have the old turbo downstairs. We can dismantle it, see what parts we need, order the parts for the refurbishment. So yeah, I think what I might do now is swap the turbo. Instead of doing it tomorrow, I'll do the turbo now and get the client just out of my hair, get him out of the way. And then tomorrow I can rebuild the head fully and get it onto the engine. So yeah, I don't want to rush that job, so I want to do it properly. So I think tomorrow from morning I'm gonna do the head of the engine and then bit by bit put it back onto the car. I still need to buy a sanding disc so we can sand the block down a little bit. But also for the Ford I need to buy some spark plugs because he asked me to change them as well. So I think for today I'll just get the turbo swapped over. So then tomorrow morning I'll get some spark plugs for it. It'll only take me a couple of minutes to fit and then I can get the Ford out of the way. We can go downstairs, rebuild the head of the engine and come back up here and start putting the Audi back together. Once the Audi is all back together and running, we'll do the body work, the interior, list it for sale, do the Nissan, the yearly inspection and hopefully get rid of it. And then I can move downstairs and dismantle all the turbos that I have, see what parts we need to buy to get them refurbished. And hopefully in that time we'll get the Audi or the Nissan sold so we can move on and keep buying new cars, keep building the budget up, and hopefully soon we make enough money to get to the daily that we want. And hopefully we keep flipping cars like the Nissan and we get to the supercar as fast as possible. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'm not giving myself any false hope or anything, but as soon as possible, the better. But by the end of the year, I would like to have an Audi S6 here as the daily and an Audi R8. That would be the two best cars to have. I could use the S6 as a daily and the R8 as the weekend car. And obviously when we accomplish this, we'll keep going and keep making bigger and better projects. But for now, we just have to keep working on cars like this until we can afford to work on better stuff. Hopefully by that time I reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers and we can keep building that up. I can then leave my day job, come to the garage full time. Hopefully the business with the injectors and the turbos picks up. I will continue to flip cars even after we buy the Audi R8 and the S6. So hopefully in the end it all works out. Okay, so enough talking. Let's get the turbo replaced on this. Hopefully it shouldn't be too bad of a job. Okay, so the turbo is off. It was pretty simple except for the return line for the turbo. It was like underneath and really hard to get to, so pretty easy job except the return line, but still doable. Here is the old turbo and yeah, definitely 100% broken. The shaft has way too much play. The one from the scrapyard has no play at all, just a minimum standard play, which is okay. So now all that's left is to put this one back on the car, clean out the intercooler, and it should be good to go. Okay, so unfortunately I wasn't able to get the Ford done today. The new turbo that the owner brought down, it had a bolt broken inside and I just couldn't remove it in any way. I tried drilling it, I tried welding it, I just couldn't get it removed. So he's gonna bring it to get machined out and put a new tread into it. So he's gonna bring back the turbo tomorrow with the tread repaired. I didn't want to put it on with one screw not bolted on, so he's gonna get that repaired, bring the turbo back tomorrow. That does set me back as well a little bit, but tomorrow when he brings back the turbo and few spark plugs, we'll be able to finish that job hopefully tomorrow. And as I said, tomorrow I'm gonna start putting everything from the old head onto the new head, get all the valves on, the camshaft, everything, put it on fully. I still need to get new bolts for the head, and that should be it. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish the Audi tomorrow. Not fully, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to crank it over and get it started and see how it runs. So today's video might be a little bit short, but as I said, I'm going to try to upload every single day this week. So if you've enjoyed today's video and you would like to see more content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, and leave a comment down below. It really does help the channel grow and encourages me to keep making these videos for you. So like I said, in tomorrow's video, we'll get the head of the Audi fully rebuilt and put back on the car. Hopefully we'll crank it over and hear it run. If the owner brings back the repaired turbo, we'll get the turbo onto the Ford and get this out of the way. We have the old one off, so I'm gonna bring this downstairs, and when we have time, we'll dismantle it and see what parts we need to buy to rebuild this, get it all cleaned, rebuilt, and then we can list it for sale. Probably tomorrow we'll not have time to do the Nissan because the Ford and the Audi will take up pretty much the whole day. If you don't mind the shorter videos and me uploading every single day this week, leave a comment down below and let me know. Is it a good idea that I upload a little bit shorter videos but every day for the whole week? Or you prefer if I upload a longer video but only once a week? So yeah, let me know down below. So that's it. I'll see you tomorrow.